All right, time for our Mission 5 Mid-Mission Study Guide. Let's remember what our standard is that we are working on. Right now, your goal is to be able to fluently, that means easily without having to think too much about it, add, subtract, and multiply. Eventually, we'll be working on to the division part of it, but right now we're just working on adding, subtracting, and multiplying multi-digit decimals using the standard algorithm. Okay, so that is our goal with the lessons that we have so far learned. Number 1, it says 1 and 361 thousandths is modeled on the place value chart. Okay, and I can see that right here. Here is my 1, my 3 tens, my 600s, and my 1000, which makes 361, and it lands in a thousandths place. That's why we say thousandths. A says, use the place value chart to find the value of that 1 and 361 thousandths plus 842 thousandths by adding the necessary dots. So we're going to add the necessary dots to the chart. Okay, so we need to add 8 tenths, all right, there we go, added 8, 4 hundredths, okay, and 2 thousandths. Okay, and then they want us to write the sum here, but here's the thing. I can't do that right now because I have too much value in both my tenths column and my hundredths column. If it is more than 9, if you have 10 or more within a place value position, you have to regroup that. So I need to take 10 of these tenths and move them over and combine them to create one group of ones. I need to take 10 of these hundredths and move them over to make one group of tenth. We can take 10 of a smaller place value position and combine them into one group in the larger place value position. Now, none of my columns have more than 9 as a value. So I can write this down. I have 2 ones, 2 tenths, no hundredths, but I do have to record that so that the thousandths, which I have 3 of, are in the correct place value position. Okay, now we're going to calculate the sum vertically. That means work it out. Calculate means work it out. And we're going to find the sum, which means the answer to addition, vertically. That means we're stacking it. All right, so 1 plus 2 is 3. 6 plus 4 is 10, so I keep my 0 and I regroup that 1. 8 plus 3, well, 8 plus 2 is 10, plus another would be 11, plus 1 more is 12. Regroup that 1, bring down my decimal point. 1 plus 1 is 2. And you'll see we got the same answers. All right, moving on to the next page. All right, we have now 2 and 342 thousandths modeled on the place value chart. Using the place value chart to find the value, or use the place value chart to find the value of 2 and 342 thousandths minus 416 thousandths by crossing out necessary dots on the chart. Okay, so I have 2 ones, 3 tenths, 4 hundredths, and 2 thousandths. I need to take away 6 thousandths. Well, there's only 2 there. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to take one of these hundredths and regroup it, distribute it next in the next column over. That 1,000th, or sorry, that 100th turns into 10 thousandths. 8, 9, 10. So I'm putting 10 dots in my thousandths column to represent this one group of a hundredth that decomposed over there. Okay? Now I will be able to take away those 6 thousandths. I'm fine with my hundredths. I can take away 1 hundredth because there's 3 there. I cannot take away 4 tenths though because there's only 3 there. So I'm going to take away one of these groups from the ones column and decompose it into tenths. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now I will be able to take away my 4, and I'm not taking away any 1s. Okay, now I'm just going to grab a black marker so you can see me crossing them out. Now I'm going to cross out 6 thousandths. I'm going to cross out 1 hundredth. I'm going to cross out 4 tenths. And I'm going to cross out no 1s. And then I'm going to go ahead and record that answer. So I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the thousandths place, 2 in the hundredths place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the tenths place, my decimal point, and 1 there. Now I'm going to solve the exact same problem, but calculating it vertically. So I'm finding the difference, which means the answer to subtraction, and I'm solving it vertically, which is the same as stacked. I cannot take 6 from 2, so I'm going to go over and I'm going to take away one of these groups, leaving 3, and move it next door, and that gives me 12, because there's already 2 there, and I'm adding 10 more. I'm just going to check to see if there's any other regrouping I need to do. 4 from 3, can't do it. So I'm going to go over here and do my regrouping. Now I'm going to be able to do all of my subtractions. 6 from 12 is 6. 1 from 3 is 2. 4 from 13. Well, 4 to 10 is 6, and 10 to 13 is 3 more, and 6 plus 3 is 9. Bring down my decimal point, and 1 without any taken away, and I have the same answer. So I know I'm good to go. Okay, compute each sum. Show your reasoning or show your work. Okay, there's lots of different ways you could do this, but the simplest way would just be to stack them. And in addition, we do have to make sure that we line up those decimal points. 5 plus 8 is 13. Regroup my 1. 9 plus 4 is also 13, plus 1 more is 14. 2 plus 1 is 4. Bring down my decimal point, and I get 443 thousandths. Do it again. 4 and 65 hundredths plus 2 and 385 thousandths. Okay, if you want to, you can fill in that gap with a 0. 5 plus nothing. 8 plus 5 is 13. 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 3 more is 10. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 7. Bring down my decimal point. Okay, so you have to show. If you just write an answer here, right, if you just do the answer part and you don't show me your work, you're not going to get any points for it, because I'm going to assume you used a calculator. Okay, it says right here that you have to show your work. That's the greatest part of the problem that you are solving. All right, and now we're going to do the exact same thing, but with some subtraction problems. With subtraction, just like with addition, you have to line up those decimal points. So even when it seems odd, because it's not going to line up the way that you would normally line things up with whole numbers, make sure that you're lining up those decimal points, because that decimal point is going to drop right down into your answer. I cannot take 9 from 0, so I have to go next door. It's going to become a 5. There's no groups here, and I'm adding 10 more. 9 from 10 is 1. Nothing from 5 is 5. And then we've got zeros. And we're going to do it again. 4 and 205 thousandths minus 2 and 385 thousandths. 5 from 5 is nothing. I cannot take 8 from 0, so I go over here. Make that a 1. This becomes a 10. Okay. Ooh, I'm not going to be able to do that here either, so I'm going to go ahead and do my regrouping. Now, I'm taking over a group. There's 1 here. I see this common mistake. People think this becomes a 10. No. If I'm giving it 10 more and there's already 1 there, that becomes 11. Okay, make sure you do your regrouping right or your answer will be wrong. All right, now I'm ready to subtract. 8 from 10 is 2. 3 from 11. Well, 3 to 10 is 7, plus 1 more is 8. Bring down my 0. Bring down my decimal point, and 2 from 3 is 1. So I get 1 and 820 thousandths. All right. This problem is a bit more challenging, and you'll notice that it is worth 16 points. That is the most points that any of these have been so far, okay? And the reason that this is challenging and the reason it's worth 16 points is because this is a 3-step problem, okay? So let's read through it. A pound of grapes cost $3.25, so 1 pound of grapes, $3.25. A pound of raspberries costs $6.63. What is the combined cost of 1 3/10 of a pound of grapes and 6/10 pounds of raspberries? Show your work. The first thing that we have to do is we have to figure out how much am I paying for 1 3/10 pounds. I know for just 1 pound it would be $3.25, but for 1 3/10 pounds that's going to be more because I'm getting more than just 1 pound. And then I need to figure out how much are these raspberries going to cost, because for a whole pound it's $6.63, but I'm only getting 6/10 of a pound. So the way that we do that is through multiplication. So we're going to take our $3.25 and we are going to multiply that by that the amount of grapes that we're getting. Okay, same thing over here, and I'm going to go ahead and label this. This is my grapes. And then I'm also going to find out how much it costs, or how much it costs for only 6/10 of a pound of the raspberries. And I'm going to do that by taking the cost of the raspberries and multiplying that by the amount of raspberries that I'm getting. Now you'll notice that my decimal points are not lined up. That's okay because this is multiplication, and we we're not going to be just pulling that decimal point down. We're going to be placing that decimal points based on not just the multiplication of the digits, but the multiplication of the place value positions. All right, raspberries. I always have to say that P when I spell it out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. I'll start with the grapes. So I'm going to take my 3 times 5, that's 15. Regroup my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 3 is 9. Now I'm moving over into the next place value position, so that means I have to put a placeholder. 1 times 5 is 5. I want to make sure I don't try to use that again because I've already used it. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 3 is 3. I add this together. 5, 12, 12, 4. Okay, now I need to see where am I putting that place value, or where am I putting my decimal point? Well, this is hundredths times tenths. 100 times 10, what do I get? I'm going to get I'm going to move over 3 place value positions. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that means that I am going to have a cost of $4 and 225 thousandths. That's not how we say money though, right? I have to have this at only 2 decimal points for money. I don't pay in 3 decimal points. So this 5, because think about rounding, 5 or greater makes you round up. So I'm going to round this to $2.23. And that's the cost for 1 3/10 of a pound. Okay? All right, and now we're going to go ahead and find out the raspberries. 6 times 3 gives us 18. Regroup my 1. 6 times 6 gives me 36, plus 1 is 37. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 3 more is 39. And now, do I need to do this next step? Because I'm going to be multiplying 0 times all these thingies, and that's just going to give me zeros, right? So we don't even have to do that next step, but we have to figure out where a place value, or where a decimal is going to go. 1, 2, 3, because there are 3 places past the decimal point in my problem. And again, I don't use money with 3 decimal points. So this 8 is going to make the 7 round up So that means that this is going to round to $3.98. All right, so I'm paying $4.23 for my grapes, $3.98 for my raspberries, and it said how much am I going to pay for all of them, right? What is the combined cost? So now what I need to do is add these up. This is why I said this is a 3-step problem. 8 plus 3, well 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 1 more is 11, regroup my 1. 9 plus 2, well 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 1 more is 11, plus 1 more is 12, regroup my 1. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 more is 8, bring down my decimal point. And then rewrite my problem, or rewrite my question as an answer. The combined cost of grapes and raspberries is $8.21. Okay, so this is a 3-part problem. All right. Now we're going to show that we can use that area model in order to multiply our decimals. So they've already drawn it for you. They've already labeled it for you. So you're going to show the product. Now you don't have to show what it is that you're multiplying in each box, but I like to because it just kind of helps my brain to stay focused. Okay, so 1 times 3 in this box. Why? Because 1 and 3 meet up in this box, and that gives me 3. In this box, it's 1 times 6/10. That's just going to be 6/10. In this box, I've got 5/10 times 3, so that's going to be 15/10. In order for that 15, for that 5 of the 15 to land in the tenths place, I've got to push that 1 over into the ones place, so that's 1 and 5/10. And then I've got 5/10 times 6/10, that's going to be 30/100. 30/100. Okay, now I have to add all of those up. 3 plus 6/10, 1 and 5/10. Fill in some of those zeros. Bring down my zeros because I'm adding up a bunch of zeros. 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 3 more is 14. Regroup my 1. 3, 4, 5. I get 5 and 40/100. Okay, now for A, B, and C, you can use any method that you want, but you do have to show your work. So if I am going to do this the quickest way, I would go ahead and just stack these, right? I'm just going to go ahead and stack them all, and then I've got that out of the way. All right, now if you're not feeling confident yet with your multiplication, double-digit multiplication or more than double-digit, multi-digit multiplication, then you can draw an area model for each one of these over here on the side. Just remember that however many digits there are, that's how many columns or rows you're going to have. All right, but I'm just going to use my standard algorithm. 4 times 5 is 20, and so I'm going to regroup my 2. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18. And then I'm going to do my 0 placeholder because I'm moving over into the next place value position. 3 times 5, I'm also going to cross that out so I don't get confused. 3 times 5 is 15. Regroup that 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 more is 13. 0. 13, 5, 1, and I've got 2 place value positions that I need to move over. That gives me an answer of 15 and 30/100. All right. Hope that doesn't get in the way of my regrouping. Okay. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. Put down a 0 placeholder. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3. What's 8 times 3? 8 times 3 is going to give us 24. Regroup my 2. 8 times 2 is 16. Plus 2 more gives us 18. 0, 9, 10, 9, 1. And this is 4 place value positions. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means I move over. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer is actually 1.9090. Okay? All right, last one. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 8 is 24. Put down my 0 placeholder. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 18 is 16. Put down 2 place value holders because I'm moving over into the next place value position. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 8. What's 7 times 8? Think about it. If you are stuck on what 7 times 8 might be, think about a multiplication fact that you do know. So perhaps you might know that 8 times 5 is 40. Okay, you could break 7 down into 2 parts. You could break it down into 2 and a 5. Put where you can see this. When you come to a multiplication problem that you are concerned that you don't know, you can break this down. Okay, I know 8 times 5, that's 40. I also know that 8 times 2 is 16. Add those together and you get 56. Okay, so we've got 56 plus 2 more is going to give us 58. All right, and now this last one, we really don't need to do that because that's a 0. It's just going to give us answers of 0, 0, 0, 0. I'm going to add all this up. 3, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 6. And I've got to move over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 place value positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa. 6, 0, 0, 0, 9, 0, 0. Quite the answer. All right. That is your, oh, I can't see the bottom, can you, sorry. That is your mid-mission assessment.